Morning, it's the Sunday the 23rd of January. Just been away for a few days, been down to London. And train ride down there, some fantastic crops of wheat and rape and barley, full crops as well, and very, very little water damage. Which gives you an indication, if price is going to be where they are now. Next year, a little bit of a concern there, I don't know, selling forward. I think you can make 195 of wheat for next November, or this November coming. It's sort of an indication. Do you have a go at that? Got a price for some barley. Our man wanted some barley, 225. So it sounds like barley's overtook wheat, and there was a massive difference 3 months ago. You know, there was a big gap. I think it was about 30 quid plus between the price of barley and wheat. Feed price, our wheat's just starting to lose a bit of its colour. As though not before long it wants a little bit of foliar feed, just to pep it up a bit. I think it's too early to be thinking about any nitrogen, especially with nitrogen prices where they are, but another month you'll be thinking about giving it sort of a few units of N to pick it up. But I don't know what we're going to do this year, how we're going to work this N plan. We need to have a good word with our agronomist, you know, so it utilises everything we put on, or most, you know, put at the nitrogen the price it is, it wants to go on efficiently, doesn't it? So whether little and often's more efficient than your usual 3 applications, I don't know. Or using the weather as well. If the weather's perfect and it's that dampish, warmish growing weather, is that where you want to be sort of aiming for going on? But no, it's just, we've got a good look on. I mean, everything looks fairly good, but it's just losing that colour. But we didn't roll a lot of back end, and I don't know, on that sandy soils, it's a bit of a gamble for us, because if we roll it and it comes wet, it stands water and the bloody seed can rot off. So, but now just having me usual Sunday walk just in my neighbour's field. It's a field of wheat after beans, and it looked a terrible mess up to about, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, until frost took its toll on the beans. And I thought, I wonder why he ain't spraying them out. But then, do you think, have they done a bit of good, you know, like, because there was a lot, like, you know, they put a bit of nitrogen in. I'm looking at the roots of the beans, and yeah, they go down quite a way, but this nodulation business, I can never find out. There is odd lump and bump on them, but whether they have fixed any nitrogen, I don't know. I mean, they can't have done no harm. In practice, best practice, him leaving them, but whether they've done a bit of good, but I think spring beans have definitely got their place in a winter-grown cover crop. You know, in a mix of maybe some rye or oats and phacelia, bung of white radish in. Vetch, hairy vetch. I think hairy vetch is better for this country because it puts more underneath for ground conditioning, and I think it stores nitrogen. I think hairy vetch makes a bit of nitrogen as well, but all depends on your land and what you want to do. But bought this little gizmo. What it is, it's a pH tester, which I didn't think would be very accurate at all, and but I bought it for the temperature of the soil, because I wanted to see if you have a massive growth, you know, like if you have a good covering of such as oats, rye, or whatever you're growing, to a thin covering, see if there was any temperature difference, you know, was it keeping the soil a lot warmer. Anyway, worked in house, got it outside. Won't even switch on. Bloody thing. Chinese junk. It's only a tenner, but it's not the point, is it? What's the point in sending someone what's the total junk? Anyway. But land's dry. I mean, dikes aren't running massively. which is a worry for me, because are we in a dry spell and now we're going to get a wet spell? Because that seems, I don't know what it's like in your regions, but we seem to get dry spells. Go dry 6 weeks, and then it pisses down and won't stop for a month. But, and weather's totally different. I mean, to when I was a kid, we used to get a lot more snow, a lot more frost. And you got a season. Well, nowadays it can be hardly above freezing one day, and then 2 or 3 days later it could be 15 degrees. What's that all about? The weather patterns seem to be all to cock. And whether it's the just changing world or global warming, I think a bit of both. But anyway, got into the modern world this last week or two. I've had my first Zoom call, and I watched my first webinar the other day. Actually, it was quite easy. Never had a Zoom call. I mean, it was to do with vet and pigs. The vet was there in the corner, and we could answer questions. You couldn't see us, but so I was expecting all us lot, whoever was watching, was in little boxes, but it didn't turn out to be like that. And yeah, I did a webinar the other day about well, carbon in soils and what to do, what not to do, and new methods and one thing and another, and it was quite interesting actually. But there was some stuff what I don't know, the speakers didn't really come across very well, or I'm going to say who speakers were or what it was about, to be honest, because I ain't pulling them to bits, because they were a couple of very, very interesting fellas. But there was one question asked about that stuff, about 40-yard muck. And no one could really answer it. You know, the question was, when's the best time to put muck on? Which I wouldn't think's a very hard question. But answering it, I don't know nowadays, because we don't know the true facts about spreading laws. Or is it, you know, is there a cut-off date in September the 1st? Are you allowed only to put it on oilseed rape? You know, I mean, we've got that much muck on our farm that we need a little bit more time than spring to get shut of it, like, and to utilise it to our benefit more as well. Because I mean, if it's a wet spring, we'll be buggered. I mean, we won't have the time. Well, we won't want to use it because we'd paddle hell out of spot. Because a lot of our spring cornland we do cultivate at back end, so. And we like to put a bit on at back end. I mean, but what are the laws about what do you need to do? And they can't answer these questions, which I don't know. I mean, we need to know. And that tells you we have to, well, right, if you lads want to put muck on at back end, you have to do a bit back for us. You have to put cover crops in. Which, to be fair, is a no-brainer anyway, because how many nutrients do you lose down the drain? What gets washed away anyway? But I think, yeah, that's fair enough. Mr. Environment Agency or Mr. DEFRA, whoever's sort of telling us what to do. Egret there, look. Becoming very popular on this farm. Yeah, if you tell us to, right, we'll do this for you, we can put muck on, but you have to give us a list of species, what they think, what'll utilise them, and you have to put 4 of them in. Yeah, don't persecute us with all deer stuff. You know, something we can maybe grow on the farm a bit cheaper. A bit of mustard, being your brassica, being your alternative to such as rape. Put a bit of rye, a bit of barley, and then store it up so it doesn't leach and go down drains. And then when it's terminated, it can go down. It can go for next year's plant food or this year's plant food. While I've been away for a few days, they've done a bit of cattle race. Put this gate on. Put the sliding door in. Come round here. cut them off individually before I go into crush. So yeah, I don't know about the paint job though. I think we maybe have to go by. It's a little bit matte. It's a little bit, I don't know, primerish. I think we need some gloss. That'll rust bad, I think. But I think it's worth spending 40 quid on a can of paint. But yeah, just noticed they've got that gate a bit high. I don't know. Won't matter. Bit of a perfectionist when it comes to levels and that. I don't know whether it's OCD or what, but I like stuff to be right. But no, it's right enough. I made a good job. Noticed there was a load of straw sheltering these bullocks, and a few of them have had an injection. I don't know, our IBR nasal thing didn't work very well. A few, it wasn't pneumonia, but they got a bit snotty, and we've had to inject a few. I don't know, these continentals are a bit more prone to going a bit cough and snottiness. They seem to go downhill when they've been moved fairly. You know, they don't take a lot of upsetting. Right, that's it for me today. Done a few jobs, no point in making work. A mate of mine told me a joke yesterday. I thought I'll share with you. Two women went out on a night out. On the way home, they had to stop and pee. So they stopped in graveyard. Anyway, one after they'd done their business, one wiped herself on her knickers. Other one grabbed a reef off a grave and used that. Anyway, next day, one husband rung the other and said, "No way am I letting my wife out with yours again. She came out with no knickers on." Anyway, the other husband said, "That's nothing. Man come home with a card up her crack saying, from all at the sadly missed from all at the fire station." Oh, while we're on, I'll show you this 6 metre power Mashio DM, so it's a heavyweight one. Runs like a clock. Oh yes, it's got a few repairs here and there. It needs PTO guards. All the oil's in the right spot in the bed. There's a few weeps here and there, nothing of summer. Oil's in the gearboxes, all three. Needs PTO shaft, folds up, everything. 2.5 grand if anybody's interested. I mean, we were going to break it up, but I think it's just too good. 2.5 grand. Oh, it needs a couple of repairs. Needs a repair to this roller. And there's a levelling bar missing, which I may have one. If not, simple, I'll be able to rig some up. But it's 2.5 grand as it is. If you need a levelling bar, well, if I can find one, it'll be an extra 100 quid. So, but no offers. It is what it is. It's 2.5 grand. I think it's very, very cheap. Right. If you like these videos, tick and subscribe, and we'll try and make next one a bit more interesting. Right. Bye for now.